In this video, we'll take a look at how to create maps with shapes in Tableau. And before we even get started with our simple work, we'll take a close look at one of the things we'll need. And right here, if we go to our Documents section where our Tableau materials are, if you go and you see my Tableau repository, you'll see a folder that says Shapes, and you'll see that I've added a folder called Stadiums. What Stadiums contains is a list or a set of images, PNG files, that we'll use to identify whether a stadium is retractable, open-roofed, or domed, and we'll use that on our map in Tableau. So here's one of the challenges you'll have with data consumers. You will get asked a question, for example, we need to make a graphic, and it's not necessarily a very heavy-duty one, but we need to have a nice visual to go along with a report that, let's say you're working for a sports advocacy interest group or something, and you need a demonstration or a simple map showing where stadiums are, and then showing which ones are domed or which ones are, open roofed or which ones have retractable roofs. And you want it to also show where all the 32 professional football teams are. Okay, great. But that's not necessarily an interesting visual, but you need to have one. So let's first connect to our data set here. And it's my NFL teams data set. And I drag the NFL stadiums sheet over. And I go to my worksheet. Okay. So go to my worksheet. And what we're doing is, even if we want to just create a simple map of those teams, right? It'd be accurate. It can certainly look good. It's not necessarily as such interesting. I could make a graph and just show that. That's not interesting either. So the map would be better than a simple table. And that's easy to do. We see that latitude and longitude have been automatically generated because we see that there's geographic data that's been coded. Okay. One easy way of getting these data to pop in without dragging two items is we go to, say we want to go city by city. We just double click on the city pill and the map will show up with the city is identified with NFL teams as dots on the map. Okay, great. And now we can drag the team, right? Our team, and we can drag that to the text shelf or the label shelf here. There we go. And we'll also notice that San Francisco and Oakland are so close together, one name obscures the other. We'll fix that in a bit. One of the other things we can do is change this automatic marks from automatic, and we can change that to text. And we'll see this gets obscured even more, and we will fix that later. There is an unknown. So we see here at the bottom right corner of the map, we go here and we have to edit our locations to address the unknown. And what is it? The Landover, Maryland location as a stadium is not known. So we have to manually enter those GPS coordinates. So we enter the latitude, longitude code here. And now the lat longe for Landover, Maryland is 38.933333, and the longitude is minus 76.9. Okay, and okay. And now the Baltimore Ravens location in Maryland will pop up. Okay, these are still kind of bunched together, so it's not something that really pops or stands out. So this is definitely not a complete visualization. We want to see some more information in this graphic. So one of the things we can do is change our marks type from text and go back to circles. That seemed to make this stand out better. Okay. The text positioning is good. There's still some things being obscured. If we were to say, try to associate with teams and see about colors, we could take teams and place that on the colors card. The problem is that some teams use the same colors and then we have to manually go in and fix those colors. It's possible, but that's not necessarily the most elegant of solutions. One simple way is our interest was the stadium, so we could use a little image to show which of these have open roof stadiums, which have domed stadiums, and which have retractable roof stadiums, right? And we could use these images to replace the blue dots. Okay? So if we want to do that, since we've already added our images to the Tableau repository shape folder, we can actually do this by using shapes. So we can change this from circle to shape. And now we have these open circles as the shape of choice. And now we click on the shapes and we click more shapes. And instead of using default, I go down and we'll see that stadiums is what I can use. The problem is I haven't told it what needs to be shaped. So let's cancel that and go back. We have to add another piece of information, and that is stadium. So we changed this from circle to shape. Okay, and then we drag stadium to shape, and now we get a different set of shapes for each stadium. Now we can go into shape, and now we can go to stadiums. But you see how we have all of these different stadiums? There's a quicker way to do this, because we don't want to go manually stadium by stadium by stadium, because we only have 3 types. So if we undo that and we drag roof type, right, to shape, now we go to shape, we go to stadiums, this is our dome, we click open, this is our open, and retractable, and this is our retractable, and we click apply, and we'll see that those have changed. Now I go to size and I increase the size, and there we go. So now we know town by town or city by city what kind of stadium they have, but we still notice that this is fairly inelegant. We can do some things to change things up. So we can make this darker. So one way of doing that is going to the top menu bar to map, and where it says background map, we have light, normal, dark, streets, outdoors. So we can go to dark. We can pick the right kind of background. Here's a satellite image, if we wanted to do that. I don't think so. That's a bit ridiculous. So that's what they call offline. This would be normal. And let's go with dark. Now the problem we have is that each one of these is a bit crowded, right? Pull that over there. So we need to get these so they're not overlapped. So one way of doing it is we click on each one, we right click, okay, annotate, mark, and we see that that gets marked, and what we can do is pull that to here. So that way these cities get their due. Now, one of the other things we can do is if we can try to make that smaller. If we go here, annotate the point, click OK, and what you might wind up doing is instead annotating the point, right? And this would be the Washington team. Baltimore, annotate the point. And so on and so forth. So that way, when you have crowded, especially like here, we have San Francisco and Oakland, right? And they're in the same spot. So you can annotate. Let's do mark here. Click OK. And here's we can annotate this Oakland one. And then we have San Fran. And then we can annotate. Okay. There. So you do have some options. But very quickly, what you can do, and I'm really not liking the whole dark background here. I think it makes the map kind of obscure. So I think I'll go back to light. I liked this much better. So what we have is an easy graphic that tells us where our stadiums are, whether they're open or domed or retractable. And we have that easily conveyed in a simple map. And it didn't take that long to create in Tableau. So not a hard challenge, but certainly a high value practice. You'll spend probably way more time in some of these tasks, making sure you have your color and contrast right, your aesthetics right, because remember, when you're visualizing these kinds of things, it's not just about getting the data out on the paper or on the screen. It's about doing so in a way that uses color and shape and size and intensity in a way that makes your meaning very clear to your data consumer. So work on this in the exercises, and we'll come back and make some more maps in our next video.